read this report about the Colts by Chris Mortensen, who is a phenomenal reporter, which means I believe it's true, that they are going to release or trade him, is asinine. It's absolutely absurd, and I'm calling this right now. This is a move that we might be seeing Frank Reich on the streets and looking for a new job if this ends up happening. Who the hell does the Indianapolis Colts think they are? Do they think, unless they know something, do they think they're going to get Rodgers? Do they think that they can go and lure someone away? I mean, I don't see Rodgers going to Indianapolis, but maybe, like, do they know something that we don't know? Because what are you doing giving away Carson Wentz? I understand Carson Wentz has some issues, and I was not a fan of Carson Wentz not getting vaccinated. And I understand he already has some things going on about how the whole team, the team doesn't love him and all that stuff. And when I say I wasn't a fan of him not getting vaccinated, it's because I wasn't a fan, just like Kyrie, of how they're not putting the team first, okay? The vaccination thing, that's you on your own time. But when it comes to sports, and it's now in our area because it's public for us to talk about, I didn't like that stuff. But I understand he also has issues with teams and all that stuff. But let's think about it, man. They went 9-7. Michael Pittman is his only receiver that's worth a damn, and he's not that good. Okay, I understand he has Jonathan Taylor, but and I understand everyone wants to talk about those last couple of games. Didn't the defense allow Trevor Lawrence to have his best game of his entire rookie career? Like, where the hell did the defense go during that game? Jonathan Taylor didn't even break 100 yards in that game. What the hell happened to Jonathan Taylor? Like, this isn't all on Wentz, man. And for them to give up someone that had 62% completion percentage, went 27 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, better, by the way, than Derek Carr in a 94.6 passer rating, which was also better than Derek Carr, and a higher passer rating than Josh Allen, too. If they're going to just trade or dump someone off like that, this to me has ownership written all over it. And this to me is a stupid move if they actually do this.
Yeah, I think it would be completely crazy unless they have a plan somewhere, because they don't have a first-round pick, so they're not drafting a quarterback early. And unless you can guarantee the one you like fell to them in the second round, it can't be through the draft. I know they tried to trade for Carr before they traded for Wentz, and the Raiders said no. But McDaniel's out here talking about giving Carr $40 million, so I don't know if that's on the table. The Texans are not going to trade Deshaun to you because that's in division. Russell Wilson is not going to go to you with Sierra, and I highly doubt Rodgers is going to trade up Green Bay to go to Indianapolis. He's going to go out west if he goes somewhere. I don't know what they're planning on doing.
So it comes down to one. And are they that cocky that they think that they can win with Jimmy G? That's what it comes down to.
I think you're taking lesser Wentz at that point.
That's
Wentz outplayed him in San Francisco. I mean, really, is that what you're doing? Like, you're trading your second-round pick for Jimmy G? Because I don't care what you say. When they say, we're going to trade or release him, they're going to release him. No one's trading for Carson Wentz at this point. No. Especially seeing the landscape of it, you're not going to trade for him. And if you trade for him, it's going to be like a fifth-round pick. Like, you're not going to get anything back for him with that contract. With you already coming out and blasting him, like doing all this talk is the dumbest part of it. Like, you ruined his trade value. So yeah, it has ownership written all over it. I just don't know what their plan is if they do let him go, because they're not in a position to get any quarterback. I mean, really, outside of maybe Jimmy G, they're not in position to get any quarterback, which makes no sense to me. And it's not a very Frank Ballard-like move, in my opinion.
Not at all.
But I did kind of look at Ballard a little funny at the end with that press conference where he's like, everything's on the table. He's our quarterback right now. And Reich is supposed to be Carson Wentz's guy. Like, Frank Reich took all the credit when the Peterson relationship with Carson Wentz went downhill. Everyone thought it was because he wanted to be with Reich. Now they got together, and this isn't going to work out between the two of them. That's a little strange for me. Kind of a little blowback on Carson Wentz's personal relationship with his coaching staff. Really, I think that could be a little bit of a red flag for Carson Wentz. In reality, I think they might have one other alternative that I'll get into with this Deshaun Watson trade, maybe, that the Colts might can think of. because I really do feel strongly about this Deshaun Watson take I'm going to give. But unless that comes through,
I know where this is going.
Oh, you
I
do?
can already predict it now. I already predict it. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I know exactly where this is going. At least a part of it, where the Colts is going with this.
Yes.
One other thing I just want to say here. If they let go of Carson Wentz, and I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I am scooping him up in the hottest damn second I can possibly get him. If they let go of him, Carson Wentz officially becomes the best quarterback available, because I'm not counting Rodgers and Wilson as available, because I've kind of made my peace that they're not going to be available. I might be wrong, but I just have a feeling now that both of them are going back. Again, that we could see how more comes, but I am taking, and the same with Washington. If I'm Washington and if I'm the Steelers, like, this to me is ridiculous. And to be honest, man, it's unfair to Wentz. It really is. Like, Wentz, they would have been a terrible football team if Wentz didn't help turn that season around. Wentz was the one that went on the road and had Baltimore up by like 21, and then the defense gave up the lead. He went on the road and beat the 49ers. Like, when Wentz went on and smacked, even though Jonathan Taylor was the big part of that game, the Buffalo Bills. Like, this is, to me,
beat the Patriots too when they were hot. They beat the Patriots too when the Patriots were hot.
They beat the Cardinals in Arizona. Like, this to me, man, he lost to a team. Think about the two teams, bro, that he lost to at the end of the year. First of all, the Raiders were the hottest, if not one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They won 5 straight games to get into the playoffs. They were playing phenomenal football. They rallied around their new head coach. And the other team was a team that they can't beat in Jacksonville. And that's a real thing. And it wasn't just Carson Wentz. Andrew Luck hasn't been able to beat them. Phillip Rivers hasn't been able to beat them. They can't beat them in Jacksonville. It's just a divisional curse, man. It happens. Like, to me, this is the owner freaking out. And I'm very shocked that Frank Wright and the GM are allowing this to come out, because, like I said, I think Frank Wright, and he'll be fine. He's a smart coach. He'll get a new job real quick, but I think this could be a disaster for them unless they do have something up their mind, which brings us to your points of Deshaun Watson. Let's hear it.
Okay, so all in all, this Deshaun Watson stuff, so his case is going to be February 22nd. So we're going to get a lot more clarity after that, I believe. But I think he is going to get traded this offseason. Everyone throws out the whole Giants thing. I don't think the Giants are going to do it. Mara is not into the whole idea of it. The Jets already have Zach Wilson, so they're going to give him at least another year. Miami's off the table now. When you look at it, it's going to be like everyone does the whole Steelers, Redskins, the Commanders. I got to get used to calling them that. I've been calling them the football team of the Redskins my whole life. So Commanders, everyone does them the whole way. Deshaun has a no trade clause, so he's going to have to waive it. That's the thing everybody's got to remember on this. There's 2 teams that I think are dark horses that have perfect Super Bowl contending rosters but hate their quarterback. Number one's the obvious one that everybody thinks about. That's Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. And I think the quarterback movement is going to come from this, because I agree with you. I don't believe that Russell Wilson is going to leave. And I think if Aaron Rodgers leaves, it's to Denver. I think it's Denver or Green Bay.
Yeah.
So Deshaun's other place would be Denver, maybe. I can understand those rumors. But I think Cleveland can offer him a lot, and I think Cleveland would value him. That would make Baker Mayfield available on the move. But I don't think Baker Mayfield's a Colts Carson Wentz guy. So the other place that I'm talking about that I believe is actually the Vikings. I think Deshaun to the Vikings actually has legs. I actually saw some people on Twitter say that Deshaun would waive his no trade. And if you look back at our shows back when we first started talking about Deshaun at the trade deadline, I kept saying watch out for the Vikings. I think the Vikings are sneaky in on him. I think that might be a reason why they didn't hire Harbaugh. I think Kwesi knows that he needs a better quarterback. I think Justin Jefferson would get along with him, and I think O'Connell's a young enough coach for them to get along and run the system around Deshaun. I think Deshaun would actually like to go there, and if that's the case, I think Kirk Cousins becomes available to all these teams, and I think that's the type of Ballard right guy that they would go and sign in the Colts. Now, I'm not saying they know that would happen, but I do think the Vikings are going to be in on Deshaun, and I do think that will make Kirk Cousins available at some point. I got to see that happen. But again, the two places I'd watch for Deshaun Watson, the Browns, if he'd waive his no trade, and the Vikings, who they report he would waive his no trade for. You just have to see the compensation for it. But I think he'd make both of them contenders instantly because of the rosters.
Yeah. Okay. So that's phenomenal stuff right there. That's fascinating. So that's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say the Falcons and Matt Ryan was going to go to the Colts.
I didn't think about that with the cap situation.
But right when you said two places that have Super Bowl winning rosters, I immediately said, "Oh, this guy's not talking about us." Shit. Like I knew right away. That's when, damn it, he's not talking about us. Yeah, our cap situation would be a disaster. But that's interesting. So I like both those ideas. I like them a lot. I actually like Minnesota more. Even though I think that the Browns have a better roster. Like their D-line with Myles Garrett's better. Their running backs are better. Dalvin Cook's great, but Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they're phenomenal. What they don't have, though, they don't have those receivers. They don't have that Justin Jefferson and that Thielen. And to me, you put Watson with those receivers and with Dalvin Cook, oh my goodness. Like, oh my goodness. Because remember, and I said this from the Watson, when he was playing, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Even with all these new guys balling out. Watson, to me, is a top 5 quarterback. I love Watson. You put him on the Vikings, that's phenomenal stuff. I can't wait to see what happens. That's a thing that is just like sitting in the back because we haven't heard about Watson in so long. I like those takes, bro. That's good. That will be really interesting to see.
Yeah, like I said, the Vikings fit just makes sense to me because number one, O'Connell likes to run this McVay type stuff that I know Watson would benefit from. And then he has the receivers on the outside. Like you saw him with Hop, he'd have Thielen and Jefferson. He'd have KJ Osborne solid, man. Like you saw him last year come on a little bit. He's solid too. Conklin's a solid tight end. And the one weakness they really have is kind of interior O-line. And you don't worry about that as much with Watson because he bails out to the right and the left if he hits pressure. So he can avoid all that. I think it's a perfect fit for him. I think Quessy, the new GM there, knows that they're going to need a quarterback to elevate, especially if Rodgers stays, which I think it's probably about a 60-40 lean he stays. If you want to compete in that division with Rodgers and not let him dominate you for the next 2-3 years, you get a quarterback on Rodgers' level. I think that's what they're going to do. I really like that to the Vikings. If I had to put my money on it, I think they do it. And I know that's like, oh, it's NFL rumor season. That's what it is, man. This is free agency rumor season, trade rumor season. If I want to put out a rumor that I believe in a lot, it's Deshaun to the Vikings and that the Browns are going to have interest. But I think the Vikings are the place he would end up landing out of that group.
Oh, baby, that's phenomenal stuff. I love it. I love it. And then now it makes all the sense in the world about Harbaugh, all that stuff. Because Harbaugh,
Deshaun wouldn't play for Harbaugh. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but, I honestly, I don't think Harbaugh wanted Cousins. I don't think Harbaugh wanted Watson. I think Harbaugh wanted Cousins. I think Harbaugh wanted to seriously. I think even though he did really well with Kaepernick, and I'm not saying that Kaepernick and Watson are similar, but they do have very similar styles, at least somewhat similar. But I think Harbaugh's intrigue was pounding the ball with Cook and just using Cousins when we need to use him, playing good defense. I think Quessy has a whole different – I like that a lot. I think that will be fascinating. And we will be discussing all this type of stuff as we go. And then remember, tomorrow, which will be dropping on Thursday, we are going to have our first ever mock draft on the Money Down Pod. And listen, we might start doing these live. It's really easy to just connect it to YouTube. Like, me and Sean will talk about it. We can definitely do that. Like, when we hit record here, there's a button to just hit go to YouTube where we can literally just do that. So if this one goes well, we start to have some fun with it, and maybe we can get you guys interacting throughout of it, we can start doing some of these lives. We're definitely going to do the draft night live, no doubt about that, but maybe some of these mocks we can do live as well. So look forward to that. We appreciate all of you that stuck with us throughout the NFL season. And we hope you stick with us through the offseason. We hope all of you offseason nuts jump on board and listen to the show at Money Down Pod on Twitter. We've been doing some really good in an NBA. I think I'm on an 11-4 NBA prop run right now. I'm killing it with the props. Sean's going to start having some NBA plays after All-Star. He's going to have a golf video coming up here later tonight, and tomorrow we'll release it. So definitely stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for everything coming up. That is Sean White. I am Kayvon Izami, and we will talk to you soon.